Welcome to the Startup Grind.
So without further ado, I would like to invite Mr. Ludovic Laventure, the founder and CEO of MPay, and I want to give him a Startup Grind welcome. Yeah. So how are you?
Good. I'm a bit stressed.
Just look at me. So usually when you go to the office, you always get this warm welcome from your crew, right?
Every morning,
Yeah, so everybody is like clapping and raising. That's good.
I hope that I will have the same at the end.
Yeah, I hope so. All right, so Ludovic, would like to start with a little bit of knowing you better. So can you just tell us about where you grew up? Tell us about your background a little bit. Tell us about your family. What did they do? Tell us also about your early entrepreneurial experience in Albania back in '96 and 2000.
Okay. So, first of all, you introduced me quite well, so that will help. So basically, I'm coming from France, in town in north of Lyon, which is southwest of, southeast of France. I studied business, and I was working there for Rome Xerox, the first experience I had. So it was to sell, so commercial. And then I went to TV Cable in Paris. So that was my first steps. And then I created a restaurant. So I was doing different things. Where I had some. It was a gastronomic restaurant, so I had the chance to have my name in the Michelin guide, and so I did it good. And from there I wanted really to focus on creating my business basically. And at that time, it was back in '96. I met a French businessman which was already in Albania, and basically invited me to start to do something here. So I had no clue about where is Albania even, or what is Albania about. I mean, I knew from the news, and they were not that good. So so but anyway, I took a ticket, and I jumped in. I jumped in Albania and arrived here. It was in July 2000. Sorry, 1996. Sorry. So the first idea that I was shocked because I received the idea at the airport right when I arrived. It was to deal with frogs, and we're well known in France to eat frogs. We're even called froggies from the British. So. And on that, the first idea was okay, let's catch frogs in Albania and sell them in France. And I said, okay, if it's for that, I will jump in the plane and I will go back from where I come. and in fact, I stayed. So I had a couple of weeks. It was July, so it was okay. I had a couple of weeks in Albania, and okay, for sure for me it was a shock because okay, at that time you couldn't compare France and the situation here. So, but anyway, we draft a kind of project, and then I came back in France and I start to develop it and to find okay, what are the players on the market and what how to do that. So basically, end of '96, we were ready to start, but the pyramid skill fell down in Albania, so it was not the best time to start a business here. So we waited a month, and then when the army came in Albania, I came just after to start to catch the first frogs and to export them in France. So that was the beginning of the story. So during 3 years we did that, and we also took frogs and fish from Greece and Turkey. It was very tough, very very tough market here, not in France. And
your friends are reading it.
yeah, so it was okay. And it was well organized, so it was no problem on that. But during those 3 years, I was clearly seeing Albania booming on all the field. It was real estate. It was, I mean, everything was booming, and my local partner here were also booming a lot. when me, I was still waiting my turn. So it was, so I was thinking maybe there is something better to do than to wait. So that's how I decided to come and to join back in 2000. So when I was here, I was kind of exchanging with my partner at the time, and I proposed them to open what they call here 0900 company. That it was something which was going well in France, and it was a lot of service that could be offered, and mainly entertainment, content, music, stuff like that. So we start this activity, and then this one linked to some other more related to call center. Then we start to offer this service to the embassies for visa appointments, and then by getting closer to the mobile operator, we start to offer service to the mobile operator by offering them content, music, news, horoscope or whatever. So it went this way, and I was really following the line of telco. From that came MP. So this is more or less the way which bring me here today.
Okay. So from your experience in Albania, what in your opinion are some of the biggest mistakes you've seen in entrepreneurs do in Albania? Generally speaking, not only Albanians, maybe even foreigners.
Here there are some clear cases that when it comes to market study, the job is not done sometimes because you have some idea coming on the market that clearly the market is not here for that. Then maybe also it's on the quality point of view. So on long term, I would say. So here also maybe it can be improved. And also the way that in the culture, the company consider the staff. It's not really a team spirit, but more kind of you have the boss and you have the rest. So this is more or less that.
So it's like the communist culture sort of lacks in a way of.
It make I think that they are missing in communication also with the team.
Okay.
And for sure then the spirit turned not to be the same.
Okay. But business-wise, have you seen any like big mistakes, like in investment side or vision in a way, putting the wrong focus or in the wrong time?
It's more on the market study. So when you try to apply something without really caring about what is the market about, you can face big crash because obviously the market is not big enough. The market is not here where you open your business. So it's more of that the big mistake to say. For me.
So now you open, let's say, I would say like maybe 2 companies in the information technology field.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So do you think there are advantages of launching a technology startup in Albania? Are there any strategic advantages that entrepreneurs don't see that you see? Because I see, let's say, MP is something that you, one of the few people who saw it and you jumped on it. Do you think there's like other opportunities we as entrepreneurs we don't see, but they're there and they're waiting for us to catch them in a way?
They are clearly they are, and on that, once again, Albania for me clearly is not an easy market, and it's a small one. So and I spent many years to enter in, so it was tough. So that's tough. But then there is plenty of rooms, and let's say. Now I focus on MP. So really to put the mobile payment on the market, it has shown that it's very tough. It's not tough on the side of the customer because somewhere we have shown that people they take the service, they use the service, and on that we're really happy. And I think that all the team is happy on that. But then after, in terms of perception and in terms of somewhere. Changing the habit, and especially on the corporate side, it's tough because it's quite conservative and it's quite close. So that is the market on the.
Okay.
On
now let's talk a little bit about failure. So can you talk to us about failures you've had as an entrepreneur along your journey?
I will not say that I have failure every day. it's kind of you have difficulties, you have problem, you have blocking, you have the failure will really come when you quit. But I am not the type of person to quit, so I will find a way anyway. So if I fail on one direction, I will try to find a next one to pass. And I think that the entrepreneur has to be that, has to do that. Because if at the first difficulties you call it a failure and you stop, okay, it means that you're not.
Well, you are a failure.
That's why I am a kind of son of failure.
Okay, but you know, like we are all, a lot of people here are entrepreneurs in our early stages, and we're not perfect as individuals. I mean, especially when you are a founder, you have to do the work with the CEO, the CTO, the CFO, the CIO. You have to do the specialists. You have to do everything.
Yeah, but on that, we cannot. I mean, clearly, I cannot pretend that I can do everything. Far from that.
No,
And,
right.
And you need to have a team with you. Without a team, there is no way. I mean, you cannot do everything. It's,
No, right. But when you first found a company, you don't have the luxury to have everybody on board.
no, for sure.
Usually you have a team of 3 people, where 2 are programmers and 1 is a manager, and you think you have perfect solution. Then you forget you have the sales team, the marketing, and so on and so the financial advisor, so on and so forth. But apparently you're the person that you convince investors, you convince your partners that come on. I mean, I'm not perfect. I don't have the skills to do this, and you're afraid to fail, but you don't want to talk about failure, as on an early stage entrepreneur. But at the same time, you're afraid you're going to fail because of the many risks that are involved, or also the part that you cannot do everything, or your team is not capable of doing everything. So how do you think, can you balance that, right? So how can you talk about failure with your partners, and in the same time trying to build a company?
So I think I will not speak about failure. I will more speak about the, let's say, kind of I had a dream, and I will start with, okay, look, if we do that and then that, and I mean, you have to tell a story, and you have to convince people. It's not easy, but it's really it goes from there. Then after failure, I will more call it kind of, okay, blocking point that you have to pass, and on that, okay, your partner or your even your team has to help you on that. But it's not that. I mean, I will not come by saying, okay, look, I'm afraid that we will fail or there is this risk. It's more that, okay, let's see it positive and let's do it. Then find a way.
Yes, something will work in the future. Let's pray as well. Okay, how do you stay motivated as an entrepreneur? I mean, the road is long and it's hard. And entrepreneurship sounds romantic as I'm an entrepreneur. It sounds romantic as a word, but it's very tough when it comes to launching a product into the market, dealing with the competition, dealing with the people you recruit, dealing with all the issues. How do you keep going? Like, what makes you keep going as an entrepreneur? What keeps you motivated?
I think it comes from inside, but I'm not every day kind of extremely positive and life is beautiful. Some days which are tough, but it comes from inside. It's something that you feel, and also that when you have a project, you want to make it happen, and that is the thing. Nice to meet you.
Yes, that's my daughter's ass. I forgot to switch it off. Yeah, so a cat just popped up. Yeah, so, all right, so let's talk about MPay. Just tell us about it. What was the original idea, and what was the problem that you were trying to solve?
So, I mean, the first idea, I mean, when I start to understand that there is this possibility and there is that which is already existing and maybe it can be good to develop, it came out from Crystal, my other company in telecommunication. So we were, we were not bad in premium SMS, so basically selling content through short code, and you could
take your ringtone or stuff like that. But those type of services, they are quite short term. So okay, today you want the music, tomorrow you will need something else, and then it will be an application, and then it will be. But for sure, the way that we structured the company at that time and what we were offering had a limit in time. So I had to think about something else. And I was looking on I remember on the boulevard, the main boulevard of Tirana, and it was those cars which were parked at the time. Now there is no more car parked, but at that time it was. And I think that what about if we make them pay with an SMS, and like that full profit to the municipality, and somewhere, I mean, in all cities, towns in the world, I mean, most of them, you pay for your parking, so it can be a nice project to keep going with SMS. And I start to create the idea, to build all the elements, and to see, okay, what can be the technical platform and what he has to answer and how we can be enforced and all those things. And I want also to present that to the municipality at that time, and quite fast I understood that okay, there is a big problem here. It was the mobile operator, because when it comes to SMS, the revenue share, it's a revenue share, so you split in two, and it was for sure not good for the municipality to just be happy with some percent of the total amount. So it didn't work that. So from that I was okay. Let's try to find a solution where, okay, we can give most of the amount to the municipality, and it starts from that. In fact. So then after I discovered, okay, there is this mobile payment, very good. So then after we find out that okay, there is different possibilities of mobile payment, and we create the base, the layer, and step by step went to where we are now.
So what are the challenges you faced in the beginning?
So
because it's a new service, and
so let's say
you need licensing.
Yeah.
And
the nice part is when you work. I mean, when you generate the idea, that's the good. That's what I like. So you say, okay, I will do that and like that, and then it will go there, and so that's nice. And then after, once you have created the idea, and once you say that, okay, with that I can turn it all the way I want, and it will give something very nice. So okay, now I have to sell it. So now I have to put that within the ecosystem. And here starts the barrier, the problem. Because first thing you need is, you discover that you need a license. So you need to deal with the authority and to go all the way to get the license. Then you need to connect, because I mean, it's not a stand-alone solution what we develop. It's really something that is a shared platform. So speaking about sharing, you need to share with companies, and you have to convince them. And on that, I start with the mobile operator. I kind of present the idea. I remember one of the first reactions was that we can do it ourselves. Why do we need you?
they have the money.
And we said, oh, it will be difficult. And I explained, okay, the idea that the idea is to share the platform and to offer something which is centralized for all the market. And so then I had to push, to explain, to re-explain, and we went through technical, through legal, through all those things, and it's a long way. And the same with banks. So except that mobile operator there are 4, the banks there are 16, so it's a lot of people to convince. So that wasn't, it's still the tough part. But on the top of that, you have also to convince the merchant, because also then they have to be part of the ecosystem. So it's another difficulty, and then after you can have all type of technical difficulties, because okay, you have to connect, so you have to connect to a platform, but this platform cannot be connected because it's an old one, or the database is not centralized, or I mean, so yeah, it's tough and it's long.
Yeah, but then how did you go and build your customer base?
On that, I let my partner do that. So basically, I did the rest. So, in fact, the bank, which are already our prime partner, and they are making a great job on that. So they are the one which activate the client. So that is the beauty, because also in terms of image, because being a startup, when you want to introduce your name or your service, it's extremely tough. And when you speak about finance, I mean, money is even tougher. But when it's the bank speaking about that, it looks more natural. I mean, it's something that if your banker said, okay, take this service because it's our service, you will trust him.
Right,
If
so
I come to you and I say, look, I have these fancy things, try it, you say, no. So that was from the beginning. It was the idea of how to package that, how to market that. It looked more natural. I mean, it's something that if your banker said, okay, take this service because it's our service, you will trust him.
Right,
If
so
I come to you and I say, look, I have these fancy things, try it, you say, no. So that was from the beginning. It was the idea of how to package that, how to market that.
Okay.
So that was also part of all the elements that were to put in place.
But it was because like people weren't used to using mobile as a form of payment. Then you had to go through like a third operator to sell the service. It's more trustable. They don't trust the payments on mobile phones.
It's not that it's kind of. I could have. Let's say I could have taken another approach, another mobile payment type. Let's say, going with store value account and having to build an agent network. So it's tough, it costs, and on that for sure you stand alone and you have your own distribution network.
Yeah.
You connect the money, you make all the things. But I really want it to be a shared platform, and somewhere when you have an existing ecosystem, why not to use it? Why I have to enter with my own things and doing it alone when somewhere on the market you already have the bank, so they have bank accounts, they are banked, so why not to connect those guys with their mobile that they have in the pocket? Once you have that is done, when both are linked, it's okay.
Okay.
And then you can offer that to the merchant and they will be very happy.
So because we have here EasyPay, the founder, and I'm curious to know like how is it your mobile payment solution different than the others which are in the market?
So as I was saying, I chose a bank-centric solution. So I really wanted to use the existing infrastructure. So most probably you heard about the African mobile payment, which is the best success so far, and like M-Pesa, because they have built an agent network and they are addressing the end bank by offering this store value account, the wallet. So knowing a bit the market with all those years, I was thinking that it's better to speak with banks, because banks they did the job to bank people, and let's say again we are not in Africa, so I think that we'll be more close to Europe than back to Africa. So that's why naturally I say okay, better to address to the bank, to be a bank-centric, and also to collaborate for sure with mobile operator, because also there is room to collaborate.
So entrepreneurs usually like when they open up their businesses, the first challenge is on how to set up your business model, how to make money, basically, and there's always challenges on how to charge customers, what might be the business model that actually works for a certain culture, for a certain market. How did you choose what was the best business model for M-Pay, and why did you choose it that way?
So I mean, on that there is also different logic. On this one, the idea was mobile payments is new in Albania. It's not something that people are aware of. So if you start to charge them, to offer them the service, most probably they will not come. So they will not even think to try that.
Like, did you like surveys on that, or you just like basic assumption?
I could have surveyed on that. I didn't. So it was. I mean, it's for me it's a common sense that.
Okay.
And also there is a payment tool which is well known all around the world, which is called card, debit card, credit card, and somewhere it's the same logic that you don't charge the client, you charge the merchant. So also, I mean, and that has shown that it's quite successful. So for me, it was making sense to go this way, even though that in some countries and in some models you charge with the client. So that there are different models. I really select this one because I wanted to offer the service and I wanted everybody to profit. It's really a question of more transaction you have on the platform and better it is for everybody. So because it cuts the cost and it will profit.
So, okay. So when you talk about, we talk a little about the company culture. One of the challenges you've seen is like you being the boss, like many like entrepreneurs do wrongly in a way. So what approach did you take with your company?
Sorry?
What approach did you take with your company? How do you build like company culture that actually is beneficial for the business?
Be very careful.
What might work best? So you get and you keep the qualified staff because actually it's a teamwork.
Yeah, it's all about team. I think I'm maybe not the best, but I'm trying to have a good spirit, and I think that it was quite good to have this team approach. The best would be kind of to have a big round table and everybody around the table and let's go like that. My office is not like that usually, but somewhere it will make sense. I really trust on exchanging ideas and the ideas are all the time welcome for sure. So it's really to have a team more than to have a staff.
To make friends for the contacts. That's one of our abilities here. Okay. So where do you see yourself 5 years from now?
I think in financial services more and more, because from what I've seen, there are rooms to develop, there are things to make. So I think that I will focus on that. The frogs.
Frogs is done. No frogs now. I mean,
no more.
you have good roads infrastructure now, so
Yeah,
you don't have those back in the days problems.
No, I really think that would be.
Okay, so 60 years from now, when we'll all be invited here to your funeral, what would you want to be said by for you?
Oh, that I had a nice life and I really knew how to
How do you want me to remember it?
As a guy who enjoy life more than anything. This is
All right,
what I
let's
want.
give it up for Ludovic. All right, questions and answers.
Ariane Berisha. You obviously are in disruptive technologies in different industries. Since you came to Albania, starting with the frogs, how long do you give a project to be successful before you pull the plug to successfully fail? Let's say.
when the bucket will be empty. No, in fact, I cannot really give a time because, and especially on MP, that I couldn't expect to be so long to develop, and also depending of the ecosystem that you want to develop. So when you are a standalone project or structure, okay, you need to have kind of a return which will be faster, and but when you have really when you really want to put your project within the ecosystem and to connect everybody, take time. So I cannot say that there is a time because it depends of
The financial means.
the financial is a big point. Yeah. You have to dig to find some.
Okay, I have a question. So, it's me again. So at first, like you had this opportunity to do something with the embassies, something for the visas. And then after that you have a real estate business, Baltimore, which also is for embassies much more. As far as I know, you know, you mostly,
not only.
it was mostly connected with finding property, real estate for embassies, I think, for business.
In fact, it was more to understand the real estate market and to see if there are things to.
But actually, my question was quite different. My question is, why did you leave, quit Baltimore?
Baltimore?
Yes.
It
It was successful. As
Yeah,
far as I know.
and not only Baltimore, the full real estate market in Albania was successful. But 2008 brings some crisis around, and we were mainly selling our property to British people. As a good French I am, it was a pleasure. And the pound, the sterling dropped quite big time, and okay, I thought that it will not be good for some times, and I prefer to focus on my telco part.
But do you believe it was a successful business, or it was not a successful?
It was successful. I hope for Albania to turn back to success, but it's a question of market, and there is a crisis which is here, and that's the problem. It's a pity because in many countries around, like Bulgaria, like Croatia, they all profit from a boom in real estate, and when it came to Albania, crisis.
No. The other reason why I did this question is that you told us that you don't ever quit.
He didn't quit.
I
He just
didn't,
pursued
yeah,
another.
I didn't quit. I sold.
Another way of explaining it.
That is the technique that
I don't think he ever quit.
Meneer Taylor?
Hi, I'm here. So it appears to be that you move from one market to another market frequently. You switch industries frequently. If MPay fails, it appears to be like you will start something new quite easily. So my question is, usually what makes good entrepreneurs and successful people are the ones who focus and spend most of their energy in a particular industry, let's say, or in particular, well, I'm just making a claim. Some of the people, it's easier for them when they focus on one industry and give the best out of that industry. It seems like you switch from one market to the other, from one industry to the other industry. How does it help you? What do you think is the best for an entrepreneur to do? Diverse experience throughout their lifetime, or focusing in only one industry and making something big out of it?
So, in fact, I'm not. I disagree with what you're saying, because I really focus on one market, which is Albania.
You started in France. You started in France, so.
Yeah, in France.
And you had a restaurant
I was very
there.
young. That was a bracket.
So it was Prox, it was telecom,
So-
it
so-
was embassies,
But
real estate.
in fact, you can find a link on that, because I had the restaurant where I was selling frogs. Then I came here to buy the frogs. Being here, I follow with telecommunication because it was tough to go in France, and then I went like that. No, but to be serious, I really focus on the Albanian market, and now since long time. But the companies that I have developed, and they are not so much, they are quite linked one to the other. And I would put real estate in bracket, because it was not my main focus, and I really follow all the time the telecommunication line. So and clearly what I have developed on call center and SMS services and things like that bring me to mobile payment because it was okay how to use a mobile to pay. So it was really in the line. So it's not that it may look like that I'm jumping from one market to the other, but in fact there is a logic. Anyway. So this is the thing. So then after, for sure, real estate was something that was not even foreseen. It was very interesting, and I was very happy to discover that. But I was not really focused on that. And it's true also that the telco bring me to this MP, which is one foot on telco, one foot in financial services, and now I like this one better.
The second one?
Yeah, the second
So
one.
you figured out what you like most after trying the different things. Right?
But it's also because the market is quite small. So I mean, I'm sure that if I had developed something in France, I would have focused and stay on the same business because we are not adapting to the same market. So you don't really need to diversify like that. Yeah, and if you see a lot of business, they are kind of diversifying because you need to grow your business, and there are limitations here. I'm not speaking about okay, if you're in real estate and you are building, you maybe don't, and even the successful builder, they have diversified a lot. So.
What would you suggest anyway? To start one thing, and if it becomes successful, you go with it and put all your energy on it. For example, the most famous names, at least, started up something, they built it up very successfully, sold their shares publicly, they are still on the board of their startups, of their company, already public. And there are also other entrepreneurs, or like to do different things. What do you think it's the best approach for an entrepreneur, for the market, for I don't know?
I don't think that there is a best scenario. It's just different opportunity that you can find, and according to what you have developed, okay, you have services which will die on their own, and some other which will grow forever. So on that, let's say today I'm developing MP. For sure, I want to be in, and I'm not thinking of exit strategy or whatever. But even the day that maybe it will come that it will be an exit strategy, I will for sure love to stay in, because it's like a baby. I mean, when you make it, you want to stay.
I have two questions. The first one is, what is the best feature of Albanians? And the second, what inspires you in your daily routine?
Thanks a lot.
Be very careful how you answer.
Yeah. Answer my run or? I mean, life is nice in Albania, and I really enjoy all those years. If not, I will be back in France in some time. So people are nice, and life is quite good. Then after, when it comes to business, I was the other day I was hearing a person saying that Albania is like, and I find it beautiful. Albania is like the impossible become possible, and the possible turn to be impossible. And I think it's really that.
The second question.
Oh, sorry.
She wants to
What
know about your
inspires you?
inspiration. Every day. And I want to listen to it.
I would say boredom. No, the inspiration, it's, I don't know. I don't know what is the inspiration. I mean, that I have no answer.
The life.
Yeah. Yeah. Or maybe, or maybe kite surfing. Yeah. I like to have this balance between the working and the pleasure.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Come on. You can ask him, for example. I have a question. Are you really French or are you pretending?
I pretend. Et on shoot that.
Okay, talking about money, which sometimes are a great inspiration. I'm a MPay user, and it has made my life so easy for free.
Thank you.
And that's why I was wondering, how do you make money?
I don't. We do this for charity to the Albanian people. In fact, the business model is that the merchants are the ones which are paying for the service. So this is from where is coming the money. So the end user is the merchant. So when you pay your electricity bill or when you top up your mobile, it's the merchant which is charged on that. This is the model.
Or do banks?
And then after I share with my partner, the bank and the mobile operator.
Who's the other?
Which is the most used service from all the 5 services from MBA?
The number one is what we call balancing query. So, which is totally free, and I take money from nobody on this one. It's part of my NGO. But yeah, this one it's quite big because depending to the month, we have from 50 to 70% of our actual base which is using it, and especially at the beginning of the month when the salary is coming. So it's really that's okay. Is it here?
And the second one?
Top up. So the recharge is something which is also going on. For the other one, it's quite new because from the electricity we start some months ago, so it's still, and we didn't really market it. And also for digital, where also the service is good because you have all the offer. I mean, you can see it inside. So it's the beginning. So we have also to market that. It's all a question of education.
One question I have just popped up. How do you build a business network for your businesses? How do you elaborate that? So, I mean, you have such events like Startup Grind and other events, work for business network, but in order to keep it growing, to help your business grow, how do you do that?
In fact, I mean, after all those years, you tend to meet people in different events and also business meeting, and after all those years, I start to know
People know you.
I start to know some people around. But it's it's a part is directly from business meeting, and then we have association or chamber of commerce or things like that.
So what would you suggest to a startup to do when it comes to building their business network?
It starts from the beginning. It's tough because when you are brand new and you don't know anyone, those things can be good, and then you will go to association or chamber of commerce, but it's quite tough. It's quite tough. But there are some initiatives on the market for startups, so that's good. That's good.
Question here. So after you build your company, your application, how did you do the marketing for your application?
Have you seen an advertising of NPay? I know. We let's say we didn't really market it, I mean, strongly. Our partner are the ones which are speaking about it, and mainly the banks. So far, the communication has been done inside the branches, and now we are speaking about really developing a program marketing campaign. But it's all about money. It costs. And for startup, that's the main
Yeah.
thing. And especially when the project is long to take off, you are using your resources and you are cutting the marketing part. So that's the tough part.
And what I noticed is that if you see the logo of MPay, you'll find a frog there. So the frog is not leaving. All right, so let's give a round of applause to Ludovic and thank you for sharing your experience. Thank you very much. All right, so we're not finished. We have an hour of networking. You can speak to Ludovic in person or meet each other, hug them. All right, and there's some, bring some food on the outside. Thank you for coming.
Thank you very much. Thank you.